He might give him a little squeeze towards the wall. Down the inside goes In Forgets for third position. Can he get it done, or will he hold it around the outside? He'll try, he will try to hold it around the outside. He gives him the squeeze. Contact made. Good little battle. In Forgets will move to third position, and can he come back? No, he can't. Good little battle from those two guys there.
Brave if he's going to try. I think he'll back out of it. Surely he has to, unless it's me, because I would have made a move, but he backs out of it. One's wide. He's going to go for the lead. He is into the lead, and he leads. Scolding, battling for Handball there. Down the inside. That's a good move. Get it there, over the curve, banging tyres.
Did he cut him there? Did he cut him? I thought he cut him.
Does it? Podium. He's on the podium. Finally, he's done it. After so long. Forza GAVRA, there's everyone celebrating. Solo Solita's just having a donut. Does do it. Same position where another car with a side-by-side down to a route. This could end badly. Does it? Brazy bravely backs out of that one. He's not going to try that. He'd be mad to try side-by-side.
Ruapuna Park, the lights go red for Ruapuna Park, round 6. And it's go! And Cash gets an amazing start for Raleigh. Gets away well. Alessio gets a storming start, goes into second. He's going to
try it.
On the brakes.
Yes, he tries, takes a straight.
Down
inside he goes. One's wide. Throws him through as well. And into second place. That's how you do it.
12 cars are within a second of each other. Actually, 13 are within a second of each other. That is actually madness. That shows how evenly matched it is.
Might take him on the inside again.
He's challenging. Oh, he's going to be tight. Does Sig battles with a wild Renault. Look at that side-by-side behind. Around the outside. Sig, and I think around the outside as well. To go DJ Luke, and they're still side-by-side. Would you look at this? You don't see this very often. Ooh. Well, great stuff between those two.
Side-by-side again. What's ooh.
Yeah, good move. Should be able.
Championship contender. Oh, he's going to launch down the inside. And there you have it. All said and done.
Metro trying to the inside. Here we are then. For the lead. For the lead. Does he make a move? Tries. No, can't do it. Gets his nose chopped right up. Not close enough to make a move. I would have think down the inside. What a dive. And does do it. What a dive from such a long way back.
Unbelievable.
That wasn't even an overtaking opportunity, and now he's coming back side by side down into the right-hander, and they almost touch around the outside, now down the inside. Look at this side by side. Absolutely bonkers, and this lets Pirelli catch up. Down the inside goes, down the inside. Beautiful move. Does he do it? Pulls it off. Fantastic move there. It was Gav left.
Oh, Tsuki. Oh my. The most cartoon crash ever. It's no improvement for Hiker. Is there going to be one for It Forgets? Yes, but they. Oh my god. Now that is teammates. That is how identical those cars are. Exactly the same time. 120.823.
Down the inside here, he'll try the... Oh, he's on the grass! On the grass! And passes! And tries! Now he's going to be diving on the brake. Down the inside goes Seppelson and go. What a move from the Italian!
There's 1 point in it. Van Elk wins by 1 point otherwise. So Razy's got... He's lost it. Oh, Van Elk spun. Van Elk, they both spun. Oh my god. Oh my god. They will both be going mental.
Sweden wins the American Grand Prix. Let's go to third position, Low, as coming through and crossing the line, your new world champion. Hayo is the champion of the world. Metro 666 comes the line and wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and with it the title itself, and slows right down.
Is he got it? Yeah.
And world champion, Vectro 666, finally. Well, 5 lights, and we're underway, and well, there goes the grid, and they're gone. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Up the inside of Hiker, nice move there. Hiker noticed him and gave the space.
And away we go, and it's a very good start from Rip It Up. Look at him, right down the middle. Vectro also getting away very well there. Sig up the inside. Is he going to make it, Sig? Yes, he is. No, he's not.
Almost made contact.
Almost made
Everyone's
contact there.
Get through. I think they've all got through.
Everyone has got through there. Rev it up, going a bit slowly on the inside there. Solita losing the back end, but keeps it.
See down the inside. That's going to be a easy move if he does get anywhere. But again, Furia breaks very late. Oh.
Yeah, as these two battle away, Skulls going around the outside later on the brakes. Harry Potter taking the inside line. He's still there. Harry Potter's gone wide. Skull diving all over the place on the track. He's got to be careful of Boston Road. Boston Road's caught right up. Boston Road's going up the inside. Skull's just noticed him. They're side by side, almost.
He's looking around the outside into the last corner, into the clock curve. That's brave. That's very brave.
You think this one's Hector? Oh boy, yeah.
Oh, he tried that inside! And he got to move this time. He's alongside and trying and hurry. And he's trying to the outside. Is he even going to give him that? He's going to brake late. Can Andre try a cutback? No, not yet. He'll be brave to go on the lead. Looking for the lead. Vetro takes the lead here. And now Red Townsing and hits him almost. Does almost hit him.
I thought he was going to then, but he moved. I think he moved over.
The inside goes DJ. Does he make the move? No, he backs out of it. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he definitely doesn't. Well, down the inside goes Mateo. There we go. Back down the inside. Have that one, Sunshine. Now he's going to go around the inside again, isn't he? If he goes down the inside again, I'll be bonkered. Nah, you can't. That's going to end the contact. That's on side, and then to backs out of it. Oh, he runs wide. Oh, he's going to go down the inside. That's Alonso. There was Alonso and Massa. Oh, that's Ferrari around this corner. Here we are then for the Belgium Grand Prix. 5 lights. Go! And Barry gets a fantastic start. Ethan left trolling behind there. And further back, Ethan already going defensive at turn 1. Down the inside comes one of the BMWs now. And almost taps the side of the Mercedes further back. Carnage going on there. And I believe they all get through cleanly at turn 1 this time. Ferrari though, he's going to have a look down the inside. Down the inside goes Ferrari. Covering off goes the Ferrari. Round the outside goes it forgets. Well, this is bonkers down the back. Well, talk about great racing to end the year. Again, not good enough there. It's this track. He's going to try on the outside. Runs wide. And he's going to be side by side. Is Salita going to try down the inside? They're going to make contact or not?
Vector's ran off the track. Yes. Vector did run off the track there, but I don't think...
Get away with it.
He might just get away with it.
Going to make the move. Yes. Into the lead. Pulls alongside. Pulls ahead the Audi. First of the Ferrari. Now Ronnie is going to be going shallow. Can he go on the outside again? Yes. Yes. Fight. And takes the lead again. And watch out for that McLaren following behind. This is fantastic stuff. Your top 3 separated by under 1 second. And coming along is Solo Salita. He's going to try turn 1. Does he get through? They all finally, I think they've all got through at turn 1 correctly. I think it's finally happened. They've all got through turn 1. Will they get through turn 2? They almost make contact at the back. They're all squirming together.
Let's see, and Alessio's lost it again, and a Ferrari at the same time. Synchronized spinning right there.
I don't think anything can Red do. Gav into the lead! Gav leads the Belgian Grand Prix! And boy oh boy has this turned into a shocker. Red in the pit for the lead! He's got a beautiful run! Slingshots past and takes the lead! Now, we'll have the inside. Now this could be close. And down the inside. Yes, he does do it. Runs a bit wide. Cut back could be on the options. Now side by side, they come down here. Ho's going to try and give them as much of a squeeze. And does take second position there. Oh, he tries slow! Backs out that time! Hits the rear almost there.
So close.
Behind the slipstream, don't think Alessio's going to do too much about this as he goes down the inside into turn 1. Alessio's going to try and hold it around the outside, gets on the grass, around the outside. Alessio tries to hold on, and it's not going to quite do it for Alessio, and Ferrelli makes that move and gets it finished.
Pulling along, he's going to go to the lead. They've got Sig on the outside. It's going to be free into turn 1. Is it all going to be clean? The answer to that is a grand total of yes. It seems to be. Running wide. There goes Fundown. He's going to jump up to second. Sig drops down to 4th, and this is going
Third
well.
position in this Grand Prix. Look at Pancho. He might give him a little squeeze towards the wall. Down the inside goes in for yes for 3rd position. Can he get it done, or will he hold it around the outside? He'll try. He will try to hold it around the outside. He gives him the squeeze. Contact made. Good little battle. In for gets will move to 3rd position, and can he come back? No, he can't. Good little battle from those two guys there.
Brave if he's going to try. I think he'll back out of it. Surely he has to, unless it's me, because I would have made a move, but he backs out of it. One's wide. He's going to go for the lead. He is into the lead, and he leads. Skull lead. Battling for Mantle there. Down the inside. That's a good move. We'll get it there. Over the curve. Banging tyres.
Did he cut him there? Did he cut him? I thought he cut him.
Does it. Podium. He's on the podium. Finally. He's done it. After so long. Forza GAVRA. There's everyone celebrating. Solo Solita's just having a donut. Does do it. Same position where another car with a side-by-side down to a route. This could end badly. Does it? Brazy bravely backs out of that one. He's not going to try that. He'd be mad to try side-by-side.
Ruapuna Park. The lights go red for Ruapuna Park. Round 6. And it's go! And Cash gets an amazing start for Raleigh. Gets away well. Alessio gets a storming start. Goes into 2nd. He's going to
try it.
On the brakes.
Yes, he tries, takes a
so
straight.
down
the inside he goes. One's wide. Throws him through as well. And into 2nd place. That's how you do it.
12 cars are within a second of each other. Actually, 13 are within a second of each other. That is actually madness. That shows how evenly matched.
Might take him on the inside again.
He's challenging. Oh, he's
going to be tight.
Sig battles with a wild Renault. Look at that side-by-side behind. Around the outside. Sig, and I think around the outside as well. To go DJ Luke, and they're still side-by-side. Would you look at this? You don't see this very often. Ooh. Well, great stuff between those two.
Side again. Let's.
Yeah.
Good evening, good day, good afternoon, and welcome back to another qualifying session. And it's sad to say this is the last qualifying session for the GAVRA Racing GT3 Championship as we see the cars approach out of the pit lane onto the Circuit of the Americas, also known as the COTA GP track. All the drivers looking to be very well trained throughout this whole season, and it's definitely going to be an absolute of a smacker one for the final race here in the GAVRA Racing GT3 season. A little bit sad to say that, but we've still got qualifying, 25 minutes of it, and then we've got a lovely 32 lap race, I believe it is. So we're in for an absolute of a cracker of a race for everyone. I'm joined today by my co-commentator of Heo. Heo, how are we today?
Yeah, fine. I'm really looking forward to this race. It's the last one, of course, so we have some summer break with some like fun races throughout the summer. But this last one is important for all the drivers for the championship. It's still not decided fully, so I'm looking forward to having a nice evening with this race today.
Yes, definitely. You'll be having a nice evening. I'm having a lovely, crisp winter morning here in Australia. Current time for me is 6:08 in the morning, so a little bit of a later one. I could have had a bit more of a sleep in, but no, I was up at 4:30 getting ready for this race, having a little bit of practice just to see what the track's like in these type of cars. I was driving around the Audi that we see Pirelli driving right now. It's an absolute beautiful car to drive around this track. A little bit understeering at some points through the corners, but that's natural with a little bit of a lack of downforce in these GT3 cars, and also a little bit of a lack of, you know, just understeer and oversteer and things like that. But definitely the drivers will be pushing the limits today. We saw a bit of that in practice earlier on, just a couple of minutes ago. We saw I think the fastest time we saw was a 2:05.3, I think it was, or is it 2:05? No, it's 2:05.2. Was the fastest lap that we saw set by Cashnet, I believe he was, on very heavy fuel as well. So we should see a lot of drivers maybe pushing the limits in this session today. Obviously, for the last time, they're going to want to go out with a bang, and we could even see a surprise driver on pole. I'm looking at my man Pete in the Cadillac. He'll be obviously the favourite to go on pole today. We also take a look down the grid a little further. First times is being set of a 2-minute 18.3, the banker set by Mayo. We take a look at Evil Dragon, who's in that McLaren 720S, I believe it is, as its normal car. I don't know. Hale, am I right on that one? I think it's the 720S.
Isn't it the 650? I don't know.
650. Well, we have no idea, we can tell you. I'm just happy to see a McLaren on the grid to say that much. I love the look at this car. I also love how it handles, and yeah, it's a beautiful car to see joining us for one of the final races. We also see the Renault of Pollux going around. He looks pretty stable throughout this whole season. Not necessarily the best season for him. A little bit of disconnections, crashing, things like that. But that's just what you need to expect in online league racing and also competitions around the world. You're never going to have the best of luck. You're never going to be the one to win, but all you can do is give it all your best and see what you'll come out with. Pollux heading down the main straight here, the back straight here in COTA as he brakes now down, going to be braking around about the 100-meter board, I believe it is, down to second gear from 7th. Obviously the Renault, the only car in its gearbox to have a full set of 7 gears compared to everyone else who I believe has 6 gears. Car's also a dream to drive as well. A little bit of washing from the front steering rack there as well from that Renault. Not necessarily getting the best turn-in, runs a little wide over the curves. Nearly all 4 wheels off as he's going to be coming through the Turkey S double apex type of corner. He's really feathering the throttle there, and trying to take a bit too much off the track. That might have invalidated his lap time. Next time has been set by Cashnet, which is a 2-minute 5, which is an absolute smasher of a lap. But let's take a look what Pollux in the Renault is going to be able to do 5 minutes into this session now. With 20 minutes remaining, he's going to know that's the Formula 1 start-finish line. He's going to come up to the line now. Let's take a squiz on what he's able to do. Comes across the line, puts in P4 with a P10. That's with a 2-minute 10, excuse me, which is actually not a terrible lap time for the Renault driver. He'll be probably quite happy with that. Needs to improve by 5 seconds to get on the podium there. Mayo still looking ever strong in that beautiful Ferrari 488 as he heads through the center S's. Just look at the difficulty that those drivers are trying to get through these corners at some sort of high speed. It looks like Mayo might be going for the 2 laps now. Cashnet's still trying to push as much as possible. The number 4 car, obviously teammates with Pirelli in the 44 car, so I'm presuming Pirelli's maybe a Lewis Hamilton fan, being British, but hey, I'm a big old Jolyon Palmer fan, I can tell you that much, as looks like Cashnet's once again taking a bit of a wide line through I think that's turn, I don't know my corners very well around the COTA GP track, but definitely looking like Cashnet is hitting most of his apex. Once again, I've explained this, the GT3 cars not necessarily have the best turn-in in the world, so yeah, but Cashnet's car looks a lot more stable than everyone else's through the double apex apex corner there. I think it's turn 17 to 19, and then through the last corner. Let's see what he's able to do using first gear there, which was very interesting to see. Allo Champs has improved his lap time from practice to a second up. Let's see what he's able to do. Improves by, I think that was 2/10 or so there, so that's very impressive. So yeah, here, what do we think about the qualifying session so far with seeing most of the time set besides iBreach's times? Do you reckon they're all quite representative of everyone's pace, or should we maybe see someone going a little faster? Speaking of that, that is Pirelli going faster. But yeah, here, what do you think about the timing so far?
Yeah, well, what it shows is basically that the Ferrari B guys and the Audis put in a lot of practice sessions, I guess, and they really want to make this last race their race, so finishing 1-2 again. Yeah, Allo Champs is also on a good run. I know he spent a lot of time to get his setup stable, because he was a bit having troubles with the front tires throughout this S's, and so he changed a lot, and now it's not as fast as before but more stable, so in the race we might see something from him. Yeah, apart from that, all the other guys are trying their best, but the Ferrari B guys are really up in the pace. I don't know. 3 seconds is a bit is a lot. The track is long, of course, so it's not that much compared to other tracks, but yeah, it's still 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds is an eternity in racing time. Obviously, 10 seconds is an absolute country mile. So Ibridge will definitely want to be setting a bit of a quicker lap time from himself today. Hello champs, once again, that Porsche just, as we spoke about, that Porsche is looking very stable in that rear end, not too much of a suspension side of things, a little bit of a backfire there as well. Still love the sound of that Porsche as Pirelli's come out of the pits now. Only I think that's 18 tenths separating the two there, so that's very representative of their times there. As now Cashnet comes out of the pit lane, going to be filling up on fuel for him to come out. Looks like Allo Champs is now going to be starting a new lap. I think that's Philly Boy just behind him in that BMW. So we'll take a look at this little bunch of drivers, or these two little drivers. Once again, the little two drivers that could. Let's see what they're able to do today. Coming up to turn 1, you're going to be braking very heavily. Let's actually ride on board with these guys to take a look on what they're experiencing. As you can see, Playboy just absolutely that sense of change of direction in that BMW car through the first S's now. Just trying to spot out your apexes really, and trying to judge where you have grip, where you don't have grip, and really at the end of it, it's just where you're trying to find some sort of pace. LA Champ's car is just looking like it's turning in an absolute treat, as I think that's Ibridge moving up the field now into 5th place. So a 2:09 for him will get him into 5th place, looking to improve on that. No one's still got close to the representative bunch of the Ferrari B drivers, which is difficult. LA Champ's taking a bit of a different line than everyone else through there. I feel like it's a bit more of a wide line. Flyboy's definitely going to have the run now. I thought I saw a bit of rain. I don't think that was. I believe it's just overcast for us today. No shine, no rain, no happiness, but I'm certainly quite happy to see this race once again. As they now head down to turn 1, braking at the 100-meter board. Flyboy goes very deep, just trying to get the front end of that car turned in first gear there. He's going to be using second gear now to just try and get the heavy front end of that BMW around, but he's still struggling with it now. The difficult camberist type corner. I don't know if camberist is a word, but I'm using it. As he accelerates out in second gear now, coming through once again the double apex corner of 17, 18 and 19, obviously where we saw Max Verstappen's very cheeky overtake on Kimi Raikkonen. Hopefully we maybe have the same action as we did in that race at the end, but we can only really hope. Looks like Flyboy has abandoned his lap. We're going to come back on board with Allo Champs, see what he's able to do over the DRS line. No DRS nowadays in the GT3 cars just yet, but he's going to be coming up to the start-finish line. Will he improve on his lap? I don't believe he's done. Maybe he's starting a lap now. I definitely want to be starting a lap, but look how much fuel he's running. 86.3 liters of fuel. So that is an eternity of fuel. That could probably run him halfway through the race even. So yeah, once again, riding back on board with Mayo, taking a bit of an optimistic line through there, having a bit of a choice direction there to where he wants to go. We're going to head back up to Mayo's teammate right now, of Ibridge. He's only 4 seconds behind the leader, moved down into 6th place. So Israel doing very good job in that BMW to put his car in front of Ibridge now. That BMW looking relatively okay for the time being, but with 12 minutes remaining in the session, the drivers will start to be thinking about maybe a little bit of setup changes, maybe a little bit of cheekiness like that, seeing what extra time you can pull out of the car. Looks like Ibridge actually has a little bit of damage to his car. I don't know if that's damage on the front end of the car. So yeah, do you reckon that'll be definitely impacting his lap? Have you seen where that damage happened, or did you maybe spot anything that I didn't see? Because I have no idea at this stage.
No, I always see the same picture as you. so I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But
Ooh, he stopped on the track.
Don't know what he's actually doing. But yeah, this can also be just optically that he went to the pits again and repaired everything, and the damage just stays optically visible, but not actually in the game mechanics anymore. So you don't know actually.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but hey, what can we do? He'll definitely be trying to turn that car back to the pit lane, get it a little bit fixed, but we don't know just yet. The front end of that car looks like he's just slammed it straight into a wall and pancaked it a bit. But anyway, we'll move a bit further up to the field to the faster guys. I believe that's Cashnet, who's now regained pole position, and 83 tenths of a second now between the two, so it's still very, very close. A fingernails. You could throw a blanket over these two if they were next to each other. It'd give no room to one another, and they'd fight till to death do us part. Really. So yeah, these two are just Ferrelli and Cashnet once again are just so quick, and at this stage you wonder if they're going to take off to the moon next. But yeah, Ferrelli definitely going to be trying to improve these lap as Cashnet's come into the pit lane. Ferrelli's still looking for this. I've noticed that Cashnet's using fourth gear throughout the whole double apex of 16, 17, 18 and 19. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold. But yeah, both of them, not both of them, but one of them's using fourth gear, one of them's using third gear to get the turn in, so that could be a difference in downforce, that could be a difference in straight line speed, as, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little bit of lag, as Ferrelli's not improved his lap time, might be starting a new lap, however, but we'll move a bit further down the field, take a look at Pete in the Cadillac. That car still, to me, looks very, very heavy, especially on that suspension. The sense and change of direction of that car looks quite weighty on each side, but we can't judge anything just yet. That's Dragon in the pit lane still, so he has not come out, or he's come out but not set a lap time just yet. The fans look very excited there. I saw one of them with a pair of binoculars. You'll be looking for the binoculars for a long time here. It's quite a long track, quite a wide track, not necessarily a wide track, actually quite a thin track if you think about it. A lot of drivers will try and give us each other as much room as possible. So we look at Matt in the Lamborghini quite far down the field. 9 minutes remaining for the drivers here. So yeah, still quite far down the field. Needs to improve quite a lot if he wants to get himself further up the field. He's going to be definitely looking for P5. Unfortunately, Vectro, his teammate, does not join us for today, which is a little bit annoying. So yeah, he's got, I think that is Cashnet in front of it. I think that's a 44 car, and yes, I believe it is. The camera always goes weird through the hairpin corner there. Coming up to turn 13 now. We'll once again trying to just get this corner right. It's such a difficult corner to get right, and in these GT3 cars, it's once again just hard to get the nose in a circuit like this, and yeah, definitely trying to rotate the car for a lot of the drivers here. You can see Cashnet's technique with the gears there. Fourth, then back down to third, then fourth, then back down to third, then up to fourth finally. As he's once again just trying to tuck that nose in, and as here, do you reckon he'll be able to explain probably a bit better than I do on why these GT3 cars, is it just down to setup? Never mind, just give me a second. Ferrelli's gone quicker by a whole 2 tenths as he's gone very, very, 2 minute 4.8. That's something to see in the dark, as Mayo also improves, but we'll come back on board with Cashnet to see here, and I hated to interrupt you there, but that's just an absolute amazing lap. A 2 minute 4.8 from Ferrelli there. Definitely might still sit him on pole, but anyway, yeah, here, would you be able to explain to us why these GT3 cars have such a weird change of direction in this type of circuit? That's a little bit of elevation change, a little bit of a difference in camber and caster angle and things like that for the drivers. Would you be able to explain that?
What do you mean exactly by change of direction?
like most of the cars are understeering quite a lot through most of the heavy corners, and it's a little bit of an iffy to me on why most of them are doing it. Is it just something to do with setup, or is it driving style, or is it just the car in general that they don't really like to turn in high speed corners and things like that? Is it down to setup, or it's maybe it's kind of a bit in the dark about this? I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, so it's yeah, a difficult track, to be honest, because you have quite different sections. So section 1 or sector 1 is with this high downforce, or usually high downforce curves, because you need a lot of downforce there. You are quite fast, so you can use downforce, and you always have changes in direction actually there. And you don't want any understeer here, so usually it's better to play a bit with throttle and even brake sometimes. But on the other hand, you have in the second sector this very long back straight, where the best overtaking opportunity is. And last season we saw a lot of overtakes there, so the drivers are quite eager to get a bit lower downforce in order to get the overtakes there. And also, the third section is a bit of a middle part of that, but also with this long right-hander, where you can use a bit of downforce. But in this first section where we are here at the moment, it's quite difficult to get the turning. And usually you are just trying, like Cashnet is doing, to stay in the third gear even. Usually it seems more like a fourth gear corner, but in the third gear, or now he's in second, but it's a different section. You get a bit of oversteer due to engine braking, so you want to have some engine braking here, and it's even recommended maybe to change the brake bias between the first section and this section here, because you have a braking at very high speeds at the end of this straight, so you want to brake bias to be in the front, and for the other sections, so the curvy sections, you want it actually in the back to induce some oversteer due to braking if you need it, if you run a bit wide or lost your line. So it's a quite different track, quite difficult track with very different sections, so it's hard to set up the car, and it depends really on the driver if he wants to have a very good car, stable car, or a fast car with a lot of overtaking opportunities. So it's difficult to set it up here.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with that. Obviously, Heo, our technical man here, I'm surprised he's not a racing engineer just yet. Someone signed him up for his for your racing team. I'll definitely pay a pretty penny for that one. But I should also add that Dragon has moved up from last place on the grid in that Renault now. So he's gone from a McLaren to a Renault. He's had a mid-qualifying session switch, which was very interesting. But he's in a Renault now, blue and orange. Renault reminds me of the 2006 Renault Formula 1 car. But yes, he's moved to a Renault now. So yeah, he's moved up to P3 on the grid. So LA Champs might be a bit salty with that one, seeing as he had a bit of a switch of car, switch of pace, but only 2/10 separate those two, as I should add as well now. Cashnet moving up into P2 now, or staying in P2 I should say. These two haven't dropped out of first nor second, and only 26/10 of a second separate those two apart from one another, with a 2-minute 4 between the two, which is just absolutely amazing. But we'll move down the field a bit, take a look on what everyone's doing. Ibridge still got that damaged car. FSU once again in the other Porsche with Allo Champs. He might have stolen the setup from Allo Champs as well, but we never know. There's no real love-hate relationship in racing, but the number 76 car will definitely be looking for an optimal type of setup for the race and for the qualifying session. Going to try and get himself out of P11. Pollux down the field as well, still looking to improve on his lap in that Renault GT3 car. But the yeah, FSU actually looks to be on some sort of relative place. I'm sorry, I've got like the worst block nose in the world, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds very, very different. But yeah, definitely the Porsche is now heading down, as he has said, the best overtaking opportunity for the Porsche car, and really any GT3 car. We got a little bit of motion blur as well from how fast that Porsche is going. It's just lightning speed. Down in second gear for him. He's not using first gear like most of the other drivers. Probably just a little bit of a traction issue, but he does have traction control on, so that might change some things for him. But
yeah, the first gear is quite unusable in the Porsche. It's very low, and you get instantly some engine braking, and the car is unstable instantly. It's not nice to drive in the first gear.
Yeah, once again, I didn't even. I'm learning everything every day. But yeah, FSU once again coming through the final sector now. There's a pit lane entry. As I don't think we expect a pit stop. There's only 1 minute remaining now, so the drivers will need to all be out on track now. And that's FSU finished his lap now, so he's absolutely done for. Mayo's the next car to be approaching the start-finish line. No, that isn't. That's the hairpin. I always get confused around the corners around COTA. Because I don't even know where he is on track. I think he's on the start-finish straight. Maybe it'd be helpful if I put the map
back
up.
Straight, back straight.
Yeah, he's on the back straight now. Looks like he has a bit of a clear track in front of him as drag gets left and joined left. But yeah, he now comes through down turn 12, coming up to turn 13 now. So into 14 now, still 5 tenths down, or 6 tenths down on his lap. So he'll be one on the last to maybe try to improve on his lap. Maybe the final sector is where he's gone slower. But we can only think now. Qualifying's now finished for the final time in GAVRA, and it looks like Ferrelli's going to be the one on pole, separated by an inch between Ferrelli and Cashnet, but Cashnet's still out on track. Let's jump on board with Cashnet, I should say, to see what he's up to, as he's got a bit of traffic in front of him on the Lamborghini. He's down by 2 minutes on his lap. So that's really interesting. I don't know if that's actually representative of his lap. Maybe just trying to do some long fuel runs. The Lamborghini runs wide. That was very close between the two fronts of the Lamborghini and the Audi as they come through turn 16, 18 now. I missed 17. And now coming up to turn 19, the Audi's definitely got the run on the Lamborghini driver of Matt, who's just not giving any room to him. I think that might have been an invalidated lap. And swerving to say sorry, and I think that was Matt that's just spun round. But anyway, we'll head back up to Cashnet. Matt heads back into the pit lane, sits in P6. Where will Cashnet go on this grid? He stays in P2, doesn't improve on his lap time. That is the end of qualifying for him for the final time in this season. Allo Champs will be the next man to maybe come across the line. No, it isn't. He's coming to the pit lane as he's given up on his lap. So, the end of qualifying for us today. As Ferrelli takes out pole position with Cashnet sitting very happy in P2. Those two will definitely be trying to get off to their best start possible. I think Cashnet definitely did want to be tried to improve there as Allo Champs is coming in for a pit lane. Sorry, a pit stop, excuse me. So yeah. Anyway, what an absolute interesting qualifying session, as I think that's Dragon who's just left the session. So then there was 11 now as we finished qualifying here for the final time. Ferrelli on pole position, separated by absolute no time whatever, the two Brits doing very well. Ferrelli in first, Cashnet in second with a 2 minute 4.8. Allo Chance, the Swede, in third. Fleaboy in that BMW, the young German, will definitely be happy with P4, as I think Matt was in P5, didn't absolutely idolize all the people on the grid. That's Ibrich in P6, seen him a long time there as well. Definitely needs a better qualifying from him next season from the Ferrari driver. Mayo, his teammate, so it's a Ferrari 6-7, excuse me. Then we have Rizzy Real, the other BMW driver, won't be very happy, needed to move up the field to defend his teammate quite well. Pete, the other Cadillac driver in P9, he'll be quite happy with that as well. FSU needs to be up there as well to help his teammate of Alo Champs out to try and get some sort of grid gain on the two Audi drivers. Pollux won't be necessarily too disappointed, not necessarily too happy with P11, and he rounds out the final place for our grid here. But as we get ready to 5 red lights, it's going to be absolutely interesting. We'll take a look at the fuel loads. Looks like that's 100 for everyone, 103, 111, so Flyboy going a bit heavier on fuel, same with Matt. Ibrich going a bit lighter on fuel, so once again, same with his teammate Rizzy Real. Quite happy medium as well with fuel, same with Pete. FSU once again quite happy with fuel, and same with Pollux. So Heo, do you reckon we'll be expecting a pit stop from the drivers today or not?
It depends how well they can handle the front tires. I think it's up to the front tires. If they are really down and they are struggling, should be worth a pit stop, but usually we see the top drivers not doing any pit stop if there is no rain or something like that. So for the top drivers, no pit stop. For the back drivers, probably there will be 1 or 2 going into the pits getting new tires.
Alright, as I think we're about to start now, we're just syncing to get ready for the start of the final race here in GAVRA in COTA. As we get ready to go to lights out, and Ferrelli is out of the line. Same with Cash. It looks like Alochamp's gone off to an absolute smacker of a start there. He's going to be side by side with Cashnet. Ferrelli still looks to defend his line. Never mind, Cashnet's head up the inside. Looks like there was a little bit of carnage back there from the Renault driver of Pollux. These two go side by side. That's absolutely so close between the two Audi drivers, as Cashnet's been the man to get in front. Look at the separation between the front end and the rear end of that car. Looks like one of the Ferraris is round. I think that might have been Ibrich who's round. Down the field he goes. And sorry about that, a little bit of technical difficulties, as yeah, I had a little bit of an interruption early in the morning today. But anyway, we get back to the grid now after between lap 1 now. Looks like the drivers are still trying to push as much as possible. I think I missed the overtake from Flyboy, who's moved up in front of Alochamps. Definitely a very optimistic overtake, as he's cleaned up one of the boards as well. But these two of Cashnet and Pirelli have extended a bit of a gap to the drivers behind him. I think it's a bit more than 5/10. Yeah, 4 seconds to the car behind him now. Alochamps will definitely be looking for the overtake there on Flyboy, but it doesn't look like he's been able to grab it just yet. Matt looks like he's going to be definitely trying to gain somewhere up the field now. P5, I think he started P7, I think it was, as he's moved up quite far up the field. Pete also moved up the field as well, just behind Mayo from P9, moved up 3 position. Looks like that's Rizzy Real moving down the field a little bit. He went side by side momentarily there with FSU, I believe that was, as we head on to lap 2 now. Looks like these two still just separated by an absolute hair between these two, as once again Ferrelli will definitely be trying to gain positions back. This is for the championship in the GT3 Cup, so it's definitely going to be some high tension for us today, as Flyboy and Alochamps look like everyone has a little bit of a partner here. Matt has Mayo, Pete has FSU, Rizzy has Pollux, and Ibrich is all alone back there. I think he got his car repaired after some damage. Never mind, that's Pollux having an absolute mare of a spin, as he's fallen off. I think that's just weight distribution gone wrong. No, that's Pete off as well, who I think might have had some contact with the wall, which is terrible for the Cadillac driver. Yes, he has the front end of that car is not looking in the best shape right now, as yeah, all the drivers maybe just struggling for some sort of traction. I think that's Chance and Flyboy try to have some sort of overtake on one another. But Heo, what do we reckon about this this first and second lap so far?
Yeah, there's a huge gap between the Ferrari B guys and the rest, and as we see Champs going for the inside, but he doesn't do it. Yeah, so yeah, first and second is Ferrari B, and there's an 8-second or 9-second gap at the moment, which is, yeah, amazing after 2 laps, or not even 2 laps. Whoa.
Oh no, that is just a move that wasn't expected, and that is Champs who's spun it round in the Porsche Cup, the Porsche car, excuse me, and that was just something that did not need to happen. I think that was, I'm not sure on whose fault that was. That was a bit of a difficult crash there. I think Matt also got caught up in that as well, so that was really not good. Mayo lets him back through. Right thing to do. Thank you very much, Mayo. And I think Rizzy Real also tried to take some sort of opportunity for that. But looks like Matt might have a bit of damage once we get to the front end of that car of the Lamborghini. But yeah, that was just a crash that really didn't need to happen. The Ferrari looks for the overtake there. Might be under attack from the BMW just behind him. That's Pete into the pit lane now as he comes in to repair his car, but that's Champs down the field now in P9. Heo, what was that all about? Did you happen to like get a better glance at that than I did, or yeah, that was
I'm just playing the replay in the stream, and it looks like Champs and Flayboy were fighting for position, and Matteo went for the inside and dive bombed basically on Flayboy and hit Champs from the side, and then Champs, yeah, got turned around, and then he tried to recover himself but spun on the track, and other cars went into him, so quite a lot of damage to his car. Maybe
oh no,
he needs oh,
that's Ibridge gone. Sorry about that. And that's Ibridge in the wall as well on the long back straight. Once again, these drivers are just getting collected up like bees. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you here. Please continue. Never mind, that's Matt going to go for the overtake now. Heading up the inside into the chicane on FSU. He's gone extremely deep there, but got the move done, fair play. As once again, Matt just definitely, I think he's not thinking that you can't win the race on the third lap. You can't win the race on the third lap. You can win the race throughout those laps, but once again he's just trying to go for moves where moves shouldn't be happening, and that's let's get really difficult. Please continue here.
Yeah, I was quite finished with the analysis of this crash already. Let's see when Champs will go to the pits, as there's another accident on track.
There goes Polly.
Again with Matteo, oh, no. So he's a bit eager at this very moment, and he's going to pits, so maybe some damage to his car already.
Yeah, maybe could have been a bit of steering problem for him as well. Number 67 Lamborghini not doing a great job, maybe a little bit dirty driving. He'll come into the pit lane, get a change onto a new set of fresh tyres, and try to set in some sort of time. The two Porsches sound beautiful going side by side. They sound like a pack of bees going past. Yeah, these two guys will definitely be trying to move up the field now. So I should say there's already a 19-second gap between Flyboy and the two leaders of Cashnet and Ferrelli. These guys have started to pull away now. Only 28 laps are remaining for these drivers today. So yeah, these guys will definitely want to be trying to move up the field a bit further than what they are right now, but what can you do just yet? Pete's got a penalty now, I believe that is. So yeah, do you reckon we'll see maybe a pit stop from these two front guys, or they play it quite conservative and try to hang it out as long as possible on these cars here?
I guess they will try to do a zero stop here. Yeah, Cashnet is trying really hard, so basically just talking about the championship, because it's the last race. It's all about the championship. Cashnet is currently 23 points ahead of Ferrari, due to Ferrari disconnecting in the last race. If Ferrari wouldn't have disconnected, Ferrari would be, I think, 1 point ahead of Cashnet. So if Ferrari wins today, he is basically the moral champion, not the actual champion, because that will be Cashnet unless he disconnects also here. But Cashnet wants to prove that he is a valid champion and that he really deserves this championship, and I think both of them deserve this championship, no matter what. But Cashnet is trying to win this race to prove that he would have won it even without a disconnect by Ferrari, so that's what his goal is today. And Ferrari wants maybe to prove the opposite, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely that is expected here on lap 5 from these two. No love in war, as the saying goes. I think it's no hate nor love in war. I think that's the saying. I don't know, but just bear with me, please, momentarily. I think I'll be gone for about 3 to 4 minutes, so I'll let Heo overtake. Just got a little bit of technical difficulties in my house so far, so I'll be back very shortly to join you once again, and I'll leave you in the hands of the wonderful Heo. Please stand by.
Yeah, and as always, if I'm taking over, we are stuck with the picture of the current drivers, and which is the battle between Cashnet and Ferrari, which is not an boring one here. They really giving it all. So yeah, like I said, it's quite two-class race here. They are the two Audi guys. And in the back there are the other guys, now 25 seconds between them. So we will see, yeah, in like the first third of the race, the first overtakes with Pete and Matteo. That's quite something to think about. Don't know what they are doing, if the Audi is really that much stronger. The drivers are obviously stronger than the rest, pace-wise, what they proved over the whole season. But the Audi seems to be quite nice around COTA here, with this curvy section and also top speed. Yeah. So they are giving it all, still one second only, or yeah, less than 1 second between the two guys. I would like to go on board with them, but actually I'm not controlling cameras at the moment, and we have to wait for Finn to come back to us. But it was quite an interesting start of the race, quite unexpected, with the battle between Flayboy and Alochamps, and then Matteo got involved as a third driver, and that went not that well. So I didn't see if Alochamps is still not going to the pits. Maybe he's waiting a few laps, that he has not that many laps left after the pit stop, so even maybe changing the tires, so he gets nice tires for the whole race then, because the tires would last like 25 laps or so in good conditions, and then they really degrade. So maybe he's going for that and waiting a bit until he pits, or he doesn't pit at all, and the damage is not that hard, unless it seems like a lot of front end damage to the aero, so downforce is way less probably, and that will cost him quite some time in the fast section, fast corners, and also quite a lot of tire degradation, as less downforce means a lot of wobbling around in front end, and that's not good for the tires on this track, which is really hard to the front tires already. So FFS was also in the pits recently, what you can see from his lap time, and also that he's now in the second last place and 10th place. We didn't get that much drivers today. And I hear Finn is back in the commentary seat.
I am back. Sorry about that little dilemma I had there. Just had to go do something very quickly. But anyway, we join back to the race now. Sorry to interrupt you there, Heel. Is there anything important going on, or anything I should know? I noticed there's a second gap between Ferrelli and Cashnet now, so that's it's a pretty big gap now between the two. I mean, nowhere near the 33 seconds between Ferrelli and Flyboy, but yeah, these guys are definitely starting to pull away a little bit. As I think these guys now just need to start thinking, alright, what's the best I can do from P3 all the way down to P11, and not really worry about the top two unless they have some sort of collision that'll cost them 35 seconds or so. So yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting, getting further and further on into the Grand Prix. Nearly 10 laps into the Grand Prix now. Elo Champs, I've noticed, moved up the field quite well, started to get in front of the guys that had a little bit of an incident with him, as yeah, he's moved up into P4 now. Now we'll just be looking to catch Flyboy. Needs to be catching him at a quite alarming rate, 5 seconds to him, while Elo Chance is on the back straight, and I think that's Flyboy in the second sector now, or is it the third sector? But yeah, it looks like one of the BMWs at the background of Rizzy Real has had a little bit of a mistake in the background there. But yeah, Elo Champs looks to be running quite well here. He's definitely going to be hoping to, well, was probably at the start of the race, definitely going to be hoping to stay with those Audi drivers. But looks like it's all gone down the drain now between him and the Audi drivers. The Ferrari B team, once again, those two guys look like to be pulling away now. They're on lap 8, while Elo Chance is just about to come across the line now. But yeah, these guys are definitely starting to have a big input on Elo Champs and his championship. I believe, is Elo Champs sitting in 3rd place in the championship, I believe?
Yeah, he is, and he actually, so he is safe at 3rd place, but he can actually overtake Ferrari. There are 21 points between these two, so I think a 2nd or 3rd place for him and disconnect or non-finishing from Ferrari would be enough for Elo Champs to take 2nd position, but it's not that likely, of course, and you don't expect Ferrari to finish anywhere behind 2nd place if he continues to finish this race.
Yeah, definitely. Ferrari will look to try to win this championship, but what can you do when you're struggling with racing with the guy that you're racing with? Once again, I think that's Ferrari who's actually starting to catch up back once again to Cashnet. These guys just look like they're on so much pace right now, and nothing could separate them between one another. But yeah, these guys will definitely want to be looking out for the best that they can right now, between what they can do and what anyone else can do, as I think their fastest lap has been a 2:06.8 is the fastest that I've seen all race. I don't know about you, but that's the fastest I've seen so far. But yeah, these drivers these two drivers at the front just look so stable, and really the only thing that will probably start to pull them down is maybe a spin of some sort. Of notice that FSU, did he come into the pit lane, or did he have some sort of incident?
Sorry, I was distracted for a moment.
That's fine. Yeah, so did FSU have some sort of crash, or did he come into the pit lane?
Yeah,
he was
in the pits. I guess he was in the pits due to some damage to his car, due to all the accidents happening in the first few laps, and so he repaired his car and lost a bit of time due to that. But actually, he was coming out in front of Pete, and now he's back. or behind Pete, so maybe something else went wrong for him.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like they're separated by much, these two. Once again, he's still got damage on his car, so maybe he had some sort of incident with Pete. Once again, obviously not the best decision to come straight out of the pit lane and try fighting with someone to risk your car, but we move a little bit further up the field. Doesn't look like anyone's too close to one another. Yeah, quite far gaps in the midfield, besides the two front runners who are just running real heel and toe between one another, as they're definitely trying to pull out a bigger gap to the cars behind them, and definitely trying to save their tires. As they move on to lap 10, I believe it is now. Yes, it is. As they head on to lap 10. No, it's lap 9. No, it's lap 10. The counter got me right when I said it was lap 9. But yeah, these guys will, with only 22 laps remaining, these guys will definitely start to be thinking about their tires, about their fuel, and about what strategy they want to go into. They can pit around lap, I think it's around lap 15 to 16, if they want to have some sort of chance with their tires. And that is Pete going off. I noticed FSU moved out in front of him. These are the two leaders overtaking him now. FSU will be the next one to have the leaders come and overtake him. Alochamp starting to catch up to Flyboy now in that Porsche. The Porsche looks to start to come into its own now. Got a little bit of damage at the rear end of his car. Ferrelli definitely starting to catch up to the rear end of Cashnet. These guys at this stage just look unstoppable now between these two as they head down the long back straight, and starting to catch up to some back runners. And the next one that we'll be catching up to is FSU. So let's hope that he's a blue flag car and gets out of the way relatively quickly between the two. But yeah, everyone's really starting to get into the groove, start to get into a type of rhythm in the race so far, as Alochamp's really started to try to catch up to the back of the BMW. And here, where do you reckon the best overtaking opportunity for Alochamps to get past that BMW around this track?
At the moment, I guess it's due to some mistakes that Flayboy will do, because Alochamp seems to have still quite some damage, so his straight line speed will not be as fast as Flayboy's, and he's very safe, or like a passive driver, Alochamp, so he's not really aggressively going for every gap he sees, so he's patient in a sense, and he's trying to do that, but he will always keep up the pressure from behind, and at some point I guess Flayboy will do some minor mistake, some spinning wheels, some oversteer out of a corner, and other chances then using that to overtake. But I think there's no specific spot where Alochamps is going to force the overtake.
Yeah, definitely there won't be no necessarily specific spot. We've seen Alochamps is very patient throughout the race, and just kind of wants to get to the end quite safely as well. And hey, who can doubt a man who can do that? As Alochamps looks to the inside there, BMW driver gives him quite some nice room there. Only a smidgen of tenths between the two there. As Alochamps will definitely be trying to overtake the BMW the BMW driver. I didn't hesitate on BMW. I knew it was a BMW, but the Porsche will definitely be trying to overtake the BMW driver as quickly as possible, really, to try and get some sort of advantage on him. Never mind, Alochamps has had a bit of a weird line through I think that was turn 7 there. Maybe turn 8, but he's definitely got the run now. He's going to head side by side with the BMW driver. So this will definitely be a showing of if Alochep's gets the move done, takes a very nice inside line, gets the pace advantage on the BMW driver. Very clean, very beautiful, and just really picked out his moment. And now that's nearly half a second gap between the two now as they head along the straight. So a beautiful overtake there from Alochance. Actually, I should probably go back to him to see if Flyboy has anything to fight back with. Maybe has a little look. No, he doesn't. He just stays behind here. What do you reckon about that overtake?
Yeah, very nice, very nicely done. Got the inside and then blocked the apex, and Playboy was trying to stay right on the outside and then maybe try a sweep back, but Alochance was doing it very well and got out of the corner also quite well. So no speed advantage on the main straight or the back straight here, and yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful move, actually. Extremely clean, as well as I believe the leaders has just overtaken Matt as well in the Lamborghini. So Matt's falling down the grid, started P6 it was, or was it P7? I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely they've definitely started to move further and further through the blue flag field at this stage. And at this stage, you got to wonder: are these Ferrari B teams stoppable at this point? Will some sort of tyre disadvantage, fuel even disadvantage at some stage be starting to hinder? I'm only 12 laps till lap 24, so still quite some time before these guys need to start thinking about the end of the race. Yeah, these GT3 cars are definitely built for endurance racing. Obviously, there's an endurance spec Audi car, so yeah, it's definitely going to be a race of endurance, a quite marathon-type-esque race for these drivers. The only thing that's going to make it worse is probably rain or some sort of incident at this stage. And here, I don't believe we see rain on the calendar so far, or do we?
No, we don't. So the weather forecast is in the first half of the race it's overcast and then it's heavy clouds, so not much of a difference. We will see maybe a bit of sky, bit of blue behind the clouds, but that will not change the conditions that much.
Yeah, of course it won't necessarily change the conditions just yet. It's really just going to be probably maybe something to do with a little bit of temperature, but at this stage the drivers are mostly running with most of their air ducts quite closed. As you can see by the engine temp, that is Pollux off the track there, returning back onto the track. Cleaned up one of the sides, that's going to maybe put it on the apex of the corner. It might distract some sort of people who definitely got some damage to the front end of that car. And Matt's going to definitely have now a chance to be able to overtake Pollux here with the damage on that Renault car. Will Matt maybe be a little bit more tame through this overtake? No, he won't, because he'll go super wide, then rejoin back onto the racing track. It looks like Pollux is going to go defensive there as he now has a little bit of a squiz of a look through Matt. I think they're side by side right now. Matt's really maxing out 5th gear there, and I think he's got the inside corner. Looks like Pollux had a bit of a weave there, so maybe that was some sort of sign to tell that maybe Matt had a bit of a dirty overtake maybe before. Maybe Pollux still a bit salty over it. Anyway, we head back up to the top with the drivers on lap 13 now. So at this stage we're going to be lapping some people very quickly. Alochep's and P3 behind by quite some time, and at this stage here, do you think that Alochep's will be able to catch up to these guys?
Yeah, sadly not. The gap is already too big, the difference in pace is too big, and also Alochep's got some damage, so I don't think there's any chance for him to get even close to these guys. It's
so depressing to hear, I hate to say it, but yeah, these two have just been controlling the field at the front. That's Pollux into the pit lane now. Gonna be fixing up some damage. I'm presuming he's also gonna be changing onto the tires. Hey, I forgot to ask at the start of this race. What tires will the drivers be running today? Will it be the hards or the softs or all terrains if they really wanted to?
I didn't check the exact conditions. So yeah, it's close to summer, so it's probably quite hot, and we are racing at 2 p.m. so the hards should be the best choice. Also, regarding the very hard on the front tires track here. Yeah, but maybe the overcast is cooling it down that much that even the softs will work, but I don't think they will work for the whole race, so I think hards is the best choice here. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's really just a guessing game at this point as Pollux gets his damage fixed there, moving back up to the further top of the field as we see Kasha and Pirelli once again. These two just absolutely piece of paper between the two throughout the whole race. There's a little flash of lights from Pirelli's car there, so maybe he's trying to tell his teammate something there that maybe he maybe found a bit of a dirty move. I don't know, we kind of missed it. We were taking a squeeze at Pollux in the pit lane, who's now 4 minutes behind, so Pollux has some absolutely amazing pace at this stage, if you catch my sarcasm there. Yeah, Cashnet once again just trying to pull some sort of gap on Pirelli here to have some sort of impact on Pirelli's psychological state at this point, and yeah, Cashnet will definitely be trying to make some sort of gap, and at this stage, will Pirelli be the one? Ooh, as he makes a little bit of an interesting dive to the braking line there and the racing line as well, to try and lose some sort of slipstream. Only 6 tenths between these two guys right now, so yeah, these guys will definitely be thinking about the long game throughout this early stage of the Grand Prix, and whether it's going to start to make some sort of difference at this stage. The rear end of Cashnet's car looks very loose. I don't know about you here, but I'm looking at the rear end of that car and it looks very, very loose. So yeah, it looks it just looks really loose. I don't know why it looks so loose, but it just does to me. I don't know if you see that as well, but
it doesn't
look through the most of the S's section. It looks like he's got some sort of like weird weight distribution between the rear left and the right left. The rear right. Yeah, it's just, the car looks really weird going through the corners. I don't know, it might be a bit of lag for me, but yeah, these cars look quite weird from the rear for me. I don't know why. Maybe I need to pay a bit more attention. Anyway, as I say that, I think Allo Champs has just got a penalty of some sort. His name's come up in red. I think that's FSU having some sort of incident there. No, that's Pollux. He's absolutely spun it into the wall. It's going to leave a little bit of debris on the track, and he's just revved it out in neutral. So looks like Pollux might be a bit angry with his race, and he's got to watch out for the leaders here. So that could have been a bit of a dangerous crash. But we're coming to the halfway point of this race so far, and yeah, these drivers are really doing quite a great job to be holding out this long. Really, most of them, I don't think I've seen too many incidents so far. But yeah, Cashner once again just trying to lose that slipstream, trying to get back onto the racing line out of the corner there. I think he's got a weird flow through the corner that he's through the last corner, turn 20. He's got a very, very weird like flow coming out of the exit of the corner. Pollux has come to the pit lane, obviously. As once again, I've seen Pirelli flash his lights. So, hey, was that some sort of message to Cashnet from Pirelli that there's some sort of weird thing? I've noticed that he keeps flashing his lights after turn 1 and onto the back straight, so I'll see if he does it again. And yeah, I don't know if it's some sort of weird message that he's trying to give, or maybe he felt something was unfair. I'm not sure at this stage, really.
I'm actually not sure if it's really flashing or if it's just some reflection we are seeing here with his lights. So
yeah, it's it's yeah, once again, quite weird. I don't know if it's a reflection on. Anyway, we'll definitely see as it goes. But yeah, I noticed that Cashnut had a bit of a lock up there, so maybe his tires maybe starting to fall off the edge a little bit. It doesn't do it down into the hairpin either. So yeah, Cashnut's definitely got some braking issues down just before the long back straight. So I've got to check the little track map that I have. That is turn 11 that I'm talking about. So yeah, Cashnut is definitely maybe having some sort of braking problem. I think it's the front left tire that he locked up on. So yeah, that Audi's gonna definitely be trying to have some sort of gap advantage. See, Pirelli at this stage, it's only 7 tenths or 8 tenths now between the two. At this stage, and Allo Champ's just got no real chance at catching him now. It's only a 6-second gap down to Flyboy, so at this stage, will we maybe see some sort of midfield fight between Allo Champs and Flyboy here?
We already did a few laps ago. At the moment, Allo Champs is pulling away a bit from Flyboy. Flyboy is not keeping up the pace, and I somehow expected that at this very point, because Allo Champs was really setting his car to be good in the later laps of the race. That it's really stable, that it needs some laps in the beginning, where he already got huge problems with traffic or incidents in the race. But now his car should work, the tires should work in the right temperatures, and yeah, it seems like that's the case. He's still 3 seconds behind the pace of the Ferrari B guys, but he is outpacing everyone else on the grid, so it's fine for him. I think it looks like a P3, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the only thing that will be changing, I should also add that Pirelli's lost nearly over a second now, or actually over a second now to Cashnut. So, yeah, at this stage, yeah, Cashnut's still locking up on that front left tyre, so maybe he's got some degradation through that front left and maybe on the front right as well. It's weird that he's got it on the front left. I guess that's the tyre that takes a little bit more long lefts than rights. So yeah, it's definitely very interesting to see Cashnut locking up so much, and I don't believe Cashnut's running any ABS, so it's really all down to him and his brakes. But yeah, at this stage, I don't know if we'll see a pit stop. If he's kind to the tyres, we shouldn't. If he's not, he's only got another, oh, how many laps is that? Another 20 laps? No, not 20 laps. 10, 30, so 15. Yeah, only 10 laps to 13. God,
15,
I'm sorry. Early morning, and I'm losing it. 15 laps to go. 14 laps to go now. Until the end of this Grand Prix. So a lot of drivers. Still a long way to go. We still have all 10 drivers. I think one of them dropped out. Not sure it was. I think it was FSU. So he's given up on the championship, the constructors' championship. Really. So it's all up to Allo Champs at this stage in the Grand Prix. But yeah, Pirelli once again still trying to get some sort of advantage on Cashnut. At this stage, it's the battles of times, really. Who can set the fastest time? Who can get as close as possible? And who will really make a mistake? They look still quite good on fuel as well. So yeah, moving further down the field, we haven't really spoken about Rizzy real much in that BMW M3. As that car still looks in pretty good nick. I don't believe he's got into any damage so far. So yeah, he's kind of just tried to leg around, tried to just find some sort of position. May is 3 seconds behind him. Doesn't look like he's catching by too much. May is in front of him, and Ibridge just behind him by 7 seconds. So yeah, he's in a pretty happy place in P6. Mayer up there in P5. So yeah, he's definitely very interesting as he runs wide. Don't hit one of those Hot Wheels advertising boards, because I know they can be an absolute distraction. Found out that one the hard way. But yeah, Flyboy looking very good as well. Still quite a huge gap to Alocheps. He's right between the two of them, of Alocheps and Mayo. But yeah, now Pirelli's really started to drop off the pace. It's nearly 2-second gap. Is there any reason for that here, or is it just down to? Whoa, that was Cashnet having a big loss of the rear end there. I think that's down to his tyres now. What do you think, Heo? That was really weird as well, and that's going to give Pirelli to get straight back into the fight. Heo, what do we reckon about that?
Yeah, a lot of oversteer, accelerating out of the corner. Maybe he got a bit of, too hot rear wheels at the moment. We should continue to look at this. Usually if it happens once, you get even more hotter rubber on your rear wheels, and you really have to stay focused, as we even saw some smoke coming from the tires. Yeah, it's interesting to watch their performance at the moment at this stage. Maybe the weather changed now, and it's again. He's really having troubles on the throttle with some oversteer here.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to show. I noticed that he's started to lock up quite a lot in the brakes. We'll see if he does it again. No, he doesn't, but it looks like he's getting quite a heavy rotation, so that could be a bit of a loose rear end for his car once again. I knew that his tires were starting to go off now. This is just kind of locked it in, as that Audi's definitely starting to fall off the pace. But once again, it doesn't look like Pirelli's faring too well on his tires either. And at this stage, I think these cars might need to come in for a service, but which one's going to come in for first at this stage? At this stage during the Grand Prix, you kind of don't want to really cost too much of track position. But yeah, you can see Cashnet weaving when he brakes to try and, I guess, make the car slow down a bit quicker at this stage. But he's starting to catch up to, I believe that's iBridge now. Rizzy Real starting to come into the effects of someone else. I believe that's is that Mayo? Yes, it is. As the BMW's driver is going to try and catch up to him as much as possible, and maybe even try to have a little mysterious overtake. But at this stage, yeah, it looks like Cashnet's starting to pull out some sort of lead, and at this stage, he's got to think, don't touch those curves, don't touch those curves. I touch him and I go around. Because I can tell you, here in COTA, these curves are as slippery as ice throughout the whole Grand Prix, really. I think that's Pete starting to catch up to Matt, who looks like has some damage to his car, so maybe had a little bit of a spin. There's a bunch of action on track now. There was none before, as our cameraman struggles to find where the cars are. There they are. There's the BMW of Rizzy Real, and same with Mayo as Matt comes into the pit lane. I'm presuming that that's going to be for damage on the car at this stage. But yeah, it's really just a state of who can make it to the end, and that's Rizzy Real spinning the car. Can he get out of the wall? Luckily, but that's him spinning the car right round, and I think that's where the tires start to go off now. So lap 20 is the turning change now. Only 12 laps remaining for our drivers here. So will this be the chance that the drivers might have to start to think about, I need to come in, get a pit stop under the car, I need to get some fresh rubber, I need to push as hard as possible. So here, do you reckon that's probably the best option, or keep with track position?
Yeah, the problem with this GT3 cars in pits is that it costs a lot of time. So I'm not sure if pitting is an option anymore, because with 12 laps you have to go like, yeah, you have to go like, I think a pit stop would be like 40 seconds or so, so you have to be like 4 seconds or 3.5 seconds faster than before, and they are still setting 2.7s, so they are still quick enough, and they don't need any pit stop, I guess. And if you pit now, you are that far behind. I don't think you will gain this time again.
Well, that's the opinion from our man himself of Heo. Obviously, an amazing driver. I've got to add once again. But yeah, lap 21, the drivers are definitely starting to feel the pressure of this race. Definitely starting to feel a little bit of sadness as well as we come to the end of the race this year, and it's a little bit sad as well. I hate to say it, but yeah, it's once again that's Cashnet locking up. A little bit of puff of smoke from Cashnet there as Pirelli's now fallen 2.5 seconds behind. So this stage, I think Pirelli's just waiting for Cashnet to make some sort of mistake and pouncing on him then. But yeah, Cashnet's gonna have to start to deal with a bit of traffic. And at this stage, oh, a big lock up for him there once again. And at this stage, he's gonna have to start to think, will these cars get out of the way for me, and will I have some sort of clean track and it won't cost me too much time? So yeah, Heo, do you reckon this traffic's definitely gonna start to intrude on Cashnet's pace? As you can see there, the BMW is just getting right in his way. So yeah, Heo, what do you reckon about the traffic that Cashnet's gonna have to deal with?
It's always a bit more dangerous, so to say, for the first car, because if Cashnet is in your rear view mirror and going past, you always expect Pirelli to be the next guy, so you are very careful as a lap driver. So it's more dangerous for Cashnet that they just don't see the situation correctly and just overlook. But usually Cashnet is the better overtaker for lap cars, better than Pirelli, so usually he's not impacted that much with traffic. So I don't think it's much of a disadvantage for Cashnet now, and usually traffic is no problem for him.
Yeah, well, we can only really hope that traffic isn't a problem. So I'm pretty sure Cashnet in his cockpit's going to be screaming out blue flag. Obviously that beautiful Sebastian Vettel blue flag song as well. Gotta all remember that. But yeah, it's definitely sorry. I brought up a little bit of a meme and now I'm laughing. So yeah, Cashnet's definitely going to be trying to pull out once again some sort of gap to Pirelli's pulled out nearly 2.5 second gap to Pirelli, and at this stage that's going to start to impact Pirelli's pace overall. And at this stage, Cashnet is going to be our championship winner, as yeah, it's definitely starting to close up. I've just noticed we only have 9 people left in this race. Started with 12, I think it was, and now we're down to 9, so I think we've lost some drivers here. Drivers obviously just leaving. I think they're a bit done. I still don't know why. May as well finish to the end, but we head back to Aloe Champs, who still looks quite cool, calm and collective. I have to use that saying at least once in every racing stream. So yeah, he's looking very cool, calm and collective, and at this stage he's probably just trying to think, alright, I don't need to really make another pit stop, I'll be fine, I'll just try and push to the end, make to the end. Only 10 laps remaining now, so at this stage I don't think there'll be any chance that Aloe Champs will be catching up to P2, but we can only really hope at this stage. And yeah, really, it's going to be survival of the fittest. Pollux once again into the pit lane there. I think I've seen that car with no rear spoiler more than I have seen it with a rear spoiler. So, yeah, Pollux probably having a bit of a hard time there, 7 minutes behind. But, yeah, Cashnet once again heading back to the front field. Looks like he may have had some sort of mistake. There's now only a second gap between, or a 2.5 gap between the two. So, yeah, did you manage to see any big drop in the time? Actually, let's take a quick squiz at the timing. So yeah, Aloe Champs has a time penalty, same with Pete, 10-second time penalty, and yeah, the best lap is a 2:06. Yeah, from Cashnet there. So it's definitely going to show that Cashnet has got the pace over Pirelli for the time being by about a 10th. So yeah, Cashnet's definitely going to be trying to pull out another gap once again. And at this stage, I think everything's starting to get a little worn. And here, what can that do to a driver's confidence within the car, that everything's starting to, you know, start to fall away a little bit at this stage?
Yeah, usually it's no big problem for the drivers because they get used to it. It's a slow process. You might want to change maybe a bit of a brake bias because your braking is, as we see, Cashnet is locking up quite heavily always. So usually you cannot brake that easily, that nicely anymore. So you want to set it a bit to the back. Maybe they are doing that, maybe they don't. But at some point, for very long races, which are really hard on the tires, you get this kind of vibration that feels like a flat spot in the force feedback. I don't know if it happens all the time, but sometimes it does, and that's really annoying. If you get this, it's usually just for the last few laps in these GT3 cars, because the fuel load is not enough for more. But yeah, if you get this, then it's really annoying and it impacts your driving a lot and your confidence in your car. But otherwise, you should be used to it. And I think, I'm pretty sure that they did some long runs during their test sessions, and also like full race sessions just for testing. And so they should know what comes with, yeah, not so new tires anymore.
Yeah, definitely not so new tires at this stage. Not so new type of overtakings yet either. I think Pirelli might be waiting until he can really pounce. Maybe just trying to be quite conservative on his tires until the very last moment, where he's going to have more grip and going to have a bit more pace, and trying to really just trying to, you know, jump on the back of Cashnet and seeing what he can do. The final stages, once again, Cashnet's always locking up into the tight hairpin now. So yeah, he's really trying to do as much as possible to try and get in front of him at this stage. So yeah, it's really starting to impact the pace of him at this stage, and really he's just trying to show who's the better driver and who's the worst. But yeah, Cashnet is definitely starting to pull out a bit of a gap, and 2 seconds can quickly turn into 5 seconds, and that can quickly turn into 10. But with only a remainder of laps remaining, I think it's 8 laps remaining. Yeah, 8 laps remaining. So yeah, as the sun rises in Melbourne, Australia, beautiful sunrise as well, nice and pink. But yeah, definitely here in COTA, the sun's not rising just yet, or setting just yet. We're sitting happy in the afternoon. Cashnet goes for an overtake on a blue flag BMW there. I mean, that was Rizzy Real, who's just been overtaken. So yeah, these cars are just absolutely on fire right now between Cashnet and Pirelli. So yeah, really it's really just about who can be the fastest man on track, and Cashnet definitely is the fastest man on track, and has been the fastest man on track really all season, besides his counterpart of Pirelli. And at this stage here, one would ask, is Cashnet able to hold out the race until the the best checkered flag? That's what I tried to say. The dreaded checkered flag. Until the checkered flag, and will win the championship. I believe he'll win the championship if he wins this race. Is that right? Or
yeah, sure. So driver standings, I'm just popping them out in the stream. Cashnet is at the moment leading by quite some margin, so 23 points over Pirelli in second place. And yeah, obviously if Cashnet is going to finish in front of Pirelli, he will be champion. Pirelli needs a race win, and Cashnet should be like, I don't think it's even possible if he finishes the race. So for 9th place he will also get more points than needed. So if if Cashnet finishes this race, then he will be champion. And he's a worthy champion. So even though if Pirelli wouldn't have disconnected last race, he would have been champion. So he really deserves this win. If it's going to happen, don't jinx it yet. So let's see what comes, and then we will talk about it if it's actually the last lap or so.
Yeah, it's definitely. We'll try not to commentate a curse it at the best we can try, or we're gonna have some harsh messages coming through. But yeah, Cashnet ran a little wide through the sector S's there. So maybe just trying to get a little less temperature in the rear tires. That's definitely going to help him as he locks up once again. So yeah, it's this stage. Cashnet is definitely starting to pull a little bit of a gap, nearly 3 seconds now to Pirelli, and at this stage is Cashnet. Maybe expecting that he's going to have some sort of problem with the tires and just try to get a bigger gap as possible. And he starts to know that Pirelli has a bit of a problem with his tires, and yeah, it's excuse me. As yeah, Pirelli might have fresher tires and might try to have a bit of a pounce. Yeah, I just think Pirelli's a bit too far back now to have some sort of go within the next couple of laps or so, only 6 laps remaining now. So yeah, these guys are definitely going to start to have to think about where they're going to be able to overtake a driver and where he's locking up and doing things like that. But moving a bit further down the field, we see LA Champs still once again quite happy in the field. iBridge once again still got that front end damage as well. As we head a bit further down the field, taking a look at Pete and his Cadillac. All season been pretty good all season. I'll give it to him. He's been able to finish most of his races. Was a real newcomer as well. Doing very well in that BMW around this track. Not easy to guide that BMW Red, a track like this, but Cashnet's been able to do it all race, and from start to finish. That's the start of the race has been an absolute smacker. The race of the start here. So yeah, at this stage here, will we see a pounce from Pirelli, or is he a bit too far back at this stage?
Yeah, it looks like the gap is too big at the moment for Pirelli to catch up and take the lead at this Grand Prix. They are setting even really fast times, even though the tires seem to be a bit impacting, but they are like less than a half second behind their fastest lap times during this race. So it's not that much actually the degrading of the tires at the moment, or they are getting better and better and really giving it all. But yeah, at the moment it's 3 second gap between these two guys. Only I don't see no number, so only 6 laps left, not even so 5.5. Yeah, I don't think that Pirelli can do it out of his own power. He doesn't have it in his own hands anymore. If Cashnet is doing some mistake, then he might get the win, but otherwise I think the gap is too big.
Yeah, I think the gap is starting to get a bit too big now at this stage. Nearly 3 seconds, or just under 3 seconds, as Pollux runs again back into the pit lane. 12 minutes behind. He's absolutely setting the time sheets at an absolute light. But actually, he hasn't. He's set a faster lap than his qualifying time. But yeah, Pollux is definitely lacking some pace here. Not necessarily lacked all pace all season, but he's been fast at some tracks, been slow at some others. But what can you do? You can't win them all, can you? As we come into lap 28, 4 laps remaining in the last race of the season here. So the drivers will really want to be. I think that's Pollux coming out of the pit lane, getting out of the way of Pirelli there, who now falls behind a little bit more, as Cashnet definitely starting to really struggle with these tyres. Look at the sudden change in direction that he's trying to do. Not really trying to be so harsh on those tyres as much as possible. So yeah, it's really just about survival of the fittest at this stage for the drivers. So yeah, it's really just about cashing it, bringing it home to the end, and really try to push as much as possible until the end of the Grand Prix. But yeah, it's really just between cashing it and Pirelli this stage. And you know, I should probably do this with 4 laps remaining. Who do you reckon's probably been the driver of today? I'd probably have to give it to my man Cashing It. He's probably been my driver of the day so far. Just that absolute of a hassle of a start, been able to get up straight to first place, and been able to head side by side through lap 1 and 2 with his teammate. I think probably for me it's probably going to be Cashing It today. What do you think here?
Yeah, pace-wise, it's Cashing It. It's really incredible. Well, what he sets for lap times here. Outclassing the rest of the field, except for Ferrari, of course, but he seems to be better with the tire wear at this very stage, because he can pull a gap. But there are a lot of drivers worth mentioning. So for example, Alloy Champs, who got a huge accident in the 3rd lap or so, turning around, other drivers driving into him. You see it, a lot of front end damage here, probably even some suspension damage, I don't know. And he fought his way back up to the podium position at now, overtaking Flayboy quite nicely. But also Flayboy is worth mentioning. He's setting a very, very fast pace here. He's in a Drivers' Championship, just popping it up. He's in the mid or back field of the drivers, and so it's quite remarkable for him to finish here in P4, if he finished in P4. Also last race it was quite fast, so he understands the BMW at this very moment, probably much better than in the beginning of the season. And also to mention Pollux, actually, because he's still in this race, although he's sitting in pits now, repairing his car again, I guess so. Yeah, so he's still in the race with 13 minutes back. That's also quite remarkable to keep that still wanting to finish this race. Yeah, so quite a lot of drivers standing out today, but most of all it's Cashing It in P1 at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's quite remarkable that that Pollux is probably going to hold the Guinness World Record for being in the pits most times during a race. I hate to be mean to you, Pollux. Nah, mate, you've been pretty outstanding. I don't know if it's your first season racing, but if it is, you've been pretty good. I know I just started doing GT3 racing in AOR this year, and it's not easy. There's a lot of quick people, and the only thing you can do is ask them for advice. And I think that was someone going off track momentarily there. I think it's one of the Porsches just in front. But yeah, the only thing you can ask to ask advice, I haven't asked some of the boys who race over here at GAVRA for advice on racing line. I hate to break it to you here. I didn't ask you first. I'm sorry. I asked a lot of the boys on some racing lines around some tracks. Obviously, I know my home track, Bathurst. I love that track. Still will love it. Yeah, even racing lines around this track is COTA. Just to know where I need to have the car and what gear I need to be in some of the GT3 cars, specifically the Mercedes AMG, which I was sad to see wasn't in this league this year. But yeah, it's been absolute. It's been actually a pretty good spread field. I thought it was going to be full of Ferraris and Audis, and that was going to be it. But I love to see the Porsche. I love to see the Lamborghini. Even Pete driving the Cadillac, doing a fantastic job up there in P8, and even seeing the Renault Pollux driving up there in P9, doing a remarkable job as well. But 2 laps remaining now for the drivers. Will definitely be a pretty hectic one all the drivers to finish out now for the final time this year for only 2 laps, which will be pretty sad. I'm starting to get a little emotional. Yeah, everyone's still quite on the edge, still pushing as hard as possible. As I think Pirelli's definitely started to catch up there. Now we'll actually, you know what, we're gonna jump on board for this lap until the start-finish line. So you can just see on what the drivers experience here, what the viewers actually. I think we can head into cockpit cam as well, so you can just see on the temperate. Obviously, he's not in neutral; he's in 4th gear right now. But yeah, you can just see on the drivers' movements with the wheel, the drivers' overall attitude to how the car's handling at this stage. So yeah, everyone's doing an absolute fantastic job, I can say. I can tell you that much, really. So yeah, at this stage of the Grand Prix, everyone's just trying to push as much as possible to try and get some more pace out of the car. Only a couple of tenths, and I think this is where Pirelli might start to have a bit of a pounce now with 1 lap remaining after this one. I think this is where Pirelli's going to start to have a bit of a pounce. Heo, do you reckon Pirelli will be able to make that championship winning overtake, or will it not be able to happen just yet?
Yeah, Cashnet got a bit nervous. It seems so. He did small mistakes in the 3rd sector. Or 2nd sector, I don't know, or between the sectors basically. So Pirelli was, yeah, it was, yeah. But Pirelli was able to catch up, therefore, and he's now only 1 second behind, and another mistake by Cashnet will lead to an opportunity for Pirelli to take over. But actually, it was also quite a remarkable moment as they. Yeah, lapped Allo Champs in P3, so they're alone on their own in this lap at the moment, 1-2, and Allo Champs in the back, you see him there. In P3 is a lap down already, so that's quite remarkable also here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing that they're able to lap P3. For them, it's probably like racing against maybe easy AI for these two. But no, it won't be that many just yet. But yeah, these guys are definitely still. Excuse me, I got a little bit of water in my throat. These guys are definitely still pushing as hard as possible. You can't give up just yet until the checkered drop and I've screwed it again. Until the checkered flag. Let's just say that. But yeah, Pirelli's definitely starting to get up the rear end of Cashnet here. He's definitely trying to have a push in his car, and Cashnet's getting a little scared now, going a bit defensive, heading to the inside line. Pirelli still wants to try and grab a bit of that slipstream. They're followed all over track. Cashnet's heading onto the curbs. Pirelli down the inside he goes. No, he doesn't make it just yet. Yeah, oh, maybe he will. The perspective looks very off. Pirelli heads back to the rear end. I'm fumbling all over my words. Still on the rear end of Cashnet. The dirty air is going to be absolutely applicable through here. As Cashnet's definitely going to try and get that weight distribution. It's all about where you put the car in through this middle sector, through this 1st sector here. As these guys are getting so close to one another, Pirelli's definitely got the edge on tyres on Cashnet, and now it's like I'm singing Santa Claus on Dancer on Dixon on Cashnet on Pirelli. But as they head down now into turn 11, no, that was turn 10. Now down into turn 11, the tight hairpin until the long straight. This would be the best opportunity for Pirelli to have a bit of a dive. He's got to get the best exit as possible out, and it looks like he's got an absolute smacker of an exit, and it looks like he's up into P3, gear 3 now. No, that's running on board with Cashnet by accident. There we go. Pirelli's definitely going to be looking for the inside line here. He's got that slipstream. He's got the power from that V10 Audi, as he's going to look to the inside. Not that dumb just yet to smack it down the inside. This will be the last opportunity. Look at the gap between these two drivers here on lap 30. 32. This is going to be the only opportunity for the last time in the season that Cashnet will be able to have some sort of opportunity. He's going to definitely look for it. No, he's not just yet. Cashnet's got the inside line. Looks like Pirelli hasn't had the chance just to grab it last yet. He's going to have the last corner to maybe try to do something. Look at the... You can throw a blanket over these two and it'll cover them. As they head now down into turn 19 out of 18, what are they able to do? What is Pirelli able to do for the championship? Will he drop it all? Will he take a bullet? Will he drop the gun? Cashnet will be the man to come over the line. No, he's not just yet. Pirelli's definitely got the run on power on Cashnet. Cashnet is going to come over the line to win the GAVRA Racing GT3 Championship for 2018. Cashnet is your man to win the championship. Pirelli there in P2, Allo Champs in P3, and that's Cashnet winning the GT3 Championship this year. I gotta say, it's a round of applause for me. That was an absolutely hectic last lap, and yeah, Heo, it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate this year, and I've absolutely loved it, and yeah, well done to Cashnet. Heo, what do you reckon about that one?
Yeah, great last lap here of the season. Really worth it. Cashnet, congratulations to him. Really deserves this win here. Deserves this championship. It didn't went that well all season long for him. Ups and downs, but now he got it, and he really deserved it. The last two races, he won both of them. He had to win both of them, basically, if you not consider the disconnect by Pirelli, and he did deliver. And yeah, great win again here at COTA. It was very close between these two guys, and yeah, but he deserves to get this championship, and he's a very worthy champion here.
Yeah, definitely an absolute beautiful champion. He deserves it. He deserves it all. It's like been with Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. It's funny that Pirelli's got the number 44 on his car, and sadly Cashnet doesn't have the number 9 on his car, or is it number 6? Can't remember. I think it's number 6. But yeah, all these drivers has just done an absolute fantastic job throughout the whole season. Allo Champs is going to be the man to come home in P3 today, as he's doing some burnouts, and fair enough, as everyone's an absolute amazing job today. He's doing some burnouts in that Porsche 911, as I think Flyboy's going to be the man to come home in P4, and he's ran out of fuel, I believe, there as well. So Cashnet is your championship, is your champion this year, winning by quite a lot, I should say. Pirelli Jr. is going to come home in P2, and that's going to be Allo Champ coming home in P3 today, as he's done an absolute fantastic job. Flyboy in P4, Mayo in P5, Ibrich in P6, Rizzy Real in P7, P in P9, our man Pollux in P9 for Pollux and P8 for Pete, sorry about that. But Cashnet is your championship there this year. I want to thank you for commentating today from me. I love doing it, and I hope to catch you for another race here on GAVRA. I'll let you close out their hair, and it's been a pleasure commentating for you guys this year. Also to all the drivers, loved all the action, and I'll definitely catch you next time. I'll leave you in the hands of hair.
Yeah, thanks a lot to you, Finn. You did a very, very great job this season with commentary. I enjoyed it very much, commentating with you and hearing your excitement about the races. Really, really much appreciated. Hope to see you in GAVRA Racing a bit more with commentary, with maybe even racing. Let's see. Yeah, hope to see you around. And I can't wait for the next season to start.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, thank you to everyone. I'll let it end out here, I guess. Bye.
Bye.